and for those of you new to me, I am Karen Lestrup, and I am an astrologer, and I post monthly forecasts, so if you haven't been listening to yours, please feel free to go to my channel at Pleiades Stars and listen to your monthly forecasts. But here in this sequence, it's going to be all about palmistry. Now, I've been dabbling in palmistry ever since the mid-70s when I started out with astrology as well. And I've come to develop deep respect for it because the two of them really work well together. See, all the fingers and all the mounts, they all relate to an astrological planet. And when we see and understand how these merge and melt, this helps us as a wonderful tool that the universe has been giving us that we can work with. After all, it being the God's map, it shows you where you're coming from, where you're at, where you're heading. The lines will change when you change your mind or you change your life. It all shows up. So I would like to share this with you, and I'm going to do it in a way of putting up several posts where we go into all the main lines. Then with some categories, we'll go in and do small videos with all the different signs that you can find on your lines, because all of them have different meanings. All of them have different interpretations for what and how it affects your life. So be sure to subscribe just so you can get in here every week. We're going to have a new chapter which will bring new insights to you. I'm going to start you off with a couple of videos here right now just so you can get a feel for it. But then every Sunday it will be scheduled to be released directly to your inbox so that you can follow with us and what we are doing here. So have a good one, everyone, and let's just go to the first video here. This has more of a spiritual attunement to it. Neptune will sensitize all those Venetian things. It brings love up to a higher level where we see the other rather than our own needs. Venus can be very egotistical. If it wants to, it can look for the love it wants for self. It looks for the needs it wants to fill. Neptune, though, won't look out for self. It'll look out for the other. You know, how is he doing? How is she doing? It gives. It doesn't need attention to fulfill itself because it is fulfilled. It is connected to the universe. It's cosmic. And this is if you have a big prominent Neptune, and especially a big prominent Neptune Venus in your chart. You're probably one of those cosmic lovers looking for your soulmate, twin flame, knowing that there's something above and beyond that's much, much larger than who you are, right? And especially if you also then come to have a very long love line and you have a prominent Neptune and also Venus, well, you are one of those that we just call, like the Pleiadians, the cosmic lovers. So Neptune is very artistic, both with musical. It creates, it can create music from the spheres, art from the spheres. It's definitely a healer that has a very strong Neptune, especially with a prominent Neptune and a prominent moon. Definitely a connection there. And these mounts that you will see here for these three outer planets, they're tiny, small. Normally we didn't have them. In the old palmistry books, you won't really find that these mounts are even mentioned. So it's more our time now that we're really tuning into this. And so really prominent here, yeah, like I said, Neptune moon would be definitely a mark of a healer, especially if Venus is in there too, because it's that giving energy, feeling that they have surplus energy, and the universe is limitless. It's for everlasting. There's more than enough energy to go around. So Neptune here will promote, and we'll see whatever lines, how it connects and what kind of signs will come on it, which will enhance it or distract from it. Negative Neptunes, can be very deceitful, scam artists and con people like that. Moving on here to Uranus. Uranus is the Grand Awakener. It's what comes into our lives with a bolt of lightning, unexpected. Oh my God, wow. It is that wow factor that we normally associate here with Uranus. It's a planet of action. We'll say that maybe Mars is of the planet of action, and it used to be and still is. Mars has that physical drive to create action. But here, it's more like things come to us unexpectedly so that we, through a shock factor, burst out of the old ways of being into this new being. And just think about it when they had electrical shocks in the past. It was to jolt the brain to kind of reset. And today, when we know that Uranus rules all things computer and the internet and the technical stuff, we say we need to reboot, our computer to get a fresh start. Now, Uranus comes to us as human beings, reboots us through shock factors, whether it coming to us or maybe we're the ones that will go out and shock somebody with news or an action that wasn't anticipated. But it also denotes change, a change for the better. It's like when we have stifled, we're in a rut and things get boring. Well, Uranus can come along and pick us up and out of that rut with bringing in new experiences, new people, new circumstances, and so forth. So, and especially in our time and age, think about it. The technology that we've had, we're bombarded with images, we're bombarded with news, bombarded with social insights. This is all ruled by Uranus and that technology. So through that, we accelerate really, really, really quick with Uranus because of the fast pace of knowledge, images that we get. And you know how they say that a picture says more than 1,000 words. Well, Mercury will communicate. That's the old communication, the linear, slow communication, all on one line. Uranus is full downloads, okay? So where Mercury communicated linearly and slowly, here comes Uranus with instantaneous flashes of knowingness. This is why Uranus's keyword is I know, because it just downloads into consciousness, and from it we super excel and speed up our spiritual and physical evolution as well. Now, Pluto is death and rebirth. It's either the destroyer or it's the magician or the greatest healer. And so it sounds like it's extreme, and it is. It's the alpha and omega. It's the beginning of all new starts, but it's also that final ending. Yes, sometimes it can denote physical death, of course, because we all do die. But what it more so implies when we have Pluto transits in our life, in our charts, it's more like an era comes to an end, death of an old era, so we can start a new era. And this is what allows us to have more than one incarnation while still being in the same physical embodiment. Today we're so transient because of Uranus gave us cars so that we can move from one city to another. It gave us airplanes, boats, whatnot. Today we not just travel from city to city, state to state, but from nation to nation. We are global travelers. This is because of these two planets. And it gave us vision. When these three here from the late 1800s were detected, we had a huge jump of evolution. And this has accelerated us in a collective consciousness. And so we're able right now to go through, we move through our karma. What was karma? That was Saturn up here. Everything up to that point moved super slow in human consciousness. We lived one place a full lifetime. We were born and we lived and we died in that little village, never saw the rest of the world. We were limited. These three came in and we super excelled. And in that, see, we're able to experience more than one lifetime, say by moving from one country to another. We change cultures, language, friends, family, people, spouses. All of this will accelerate us. We don't have to waste time going through childhood and getting up to adulthood and then starting our life again. So it's interesting. This is how astrology ties into palmistry. And as we go along, we'll see how these chart out, like with transits, aspects, and whatnot. Even when you follow your astrological chart and you know, say, for example, Jupiter is in a real good position right now, you can pay attention to your palm, what's going on there, as also in comparison to your astrological chart. So be sure to subscribe right now so you can get in your weekly little palmistry class here, so you can follow us on Palmistry 123. I am Karen Lestrup, and I am your astrologer, and I will see you.